And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Reaction joining us from Washington, Mary Catherine Ham and Juan Williams, both are Fox News analysts. So Juan, how about these navigators, huh?
Well, I just think that's an outrage, Bill. But again, you know, it seems to me like we've got a haters ball going on here. I think everybody is just like, oh, let's find anything we can fly spec on Obamacare. And now these folks have come up with some people. I guess they're independents or whatever. They don't necessarily work for the government. They work for the contractor. But there's no evidence of any widespread fraud here. Senator Rubio has introduced a bill, though, I must tell you, in the Senate that would say you can't hire felons, you can't hire people who are convicts. You know, Kathleen Sebelius at HHS has said it's possible. It's not a federal requirement. The states can have the requirement. So I think that everybody's on board. We don't want any corruption. But so far, there's no corruption. All we have is everybody who doesn't like it, who really wants to, kind of subvert Obamacare, jumping on anything they can find.
Juan, we just showed you corruption.
I said, oh, come on, that's so small, Bill. Come on.
It's so small. I don't know if we have time to go to every single, navigator deal they have. But go ahead, Mary Catherine.
Well, the haters ball for Obamacare has always been populated by more than half of the United States. So I'm happy to be there. It's not super fun because a lot of people are losing their insurance. So it's not a lot of dancing. It's actually a lot of sadness. But these are serious issues. In the Navigator program specifically, right before the thing launched, they cut down the number of hours that these guys had to be trained. There is no requirement that they have a criminal background check, so you're giving all this information to people you don't know. So I think in any giant system, fraud can creep in. In this system, fraud was invited over for a keg party, and you've got, on many layers, really some serious dangers.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, Mary Catherine, about the Obamacare legislation. It's a very specific question. There are some good things in the bill, right. Some good things. Number one, if you're working and you have health insurance through your employer and you get fired, you don't lose your health insurance. Right. It follows you. That's a good. You think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think perhaps one of the only good things is we would like to sever the connection between employment, healthcare, and so that you don't lose it every time you move. I don't think that is a bad goal.
And
I think
plus,
we're going
it gives
around
an
it the wrong way.
employer an inordinate amount of power over the employee, and you just don't want that kind of a system. Secondly,
well, I think we're going about changing that in a terrible way.
The concept of pre-existing conditions, if you get ill, the insurance company doesn't re you up. Because they're paying too many bills, so we chuck this guy off the rolls because he's got cancer or heart disease or whatever. I don't think that's right. I think there should be a law against that. Do you agree, Mary Catherine?
Yeah, I think that's wrong as well, and I think these are tweaks that could have been made and changes that could have been made without blowing up the individual insurance market.
They could have been done by individual legislation, and if the health insurance companies want to be in that business, all right, they have to obey those laws. And Bill, like I said last week, the supporters of Obamacare can point out the three things that people like about Obamacare all they want, but the problem is when you're blowing up entire sections of the insurance market to get to those fixes, then you're hurting people actively. We have more people losing insurance right now than they have signing up. It's more than that. Now, Juan, here's what I think it is with you and your crew.
Thank you.
Here's what I think it is.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of poor people in this country, 20, 30 million people. And they're poor for a reason. Substance abuse is a reason, lack of intelligence, laziness, poor planning, having 3 babies before you're 20 with no father, and all of that. So there's always a reason why people are poor in America. There's always a reason.
Right.
You and your crew, Juan, say, you know what, we don't really care what the reason is that they're poor. Everyone has a right, a constitutional right, to free health care if they can't afford it. They have to be given it. They have to have it. Isn't that the crux of your philosophy on this? And therefore you're willing to overlook all the chaos because that essential good, in your opinion, overrides everything.
Well, first of all, let me just say, a lot of the poor, and I know you like to, just put me in some crew, but I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the poor, Bill, are elderly people and children in this country, and they're not there because they're drunks or they're lazy layabouts.
That's a fair point, particularly with the children.
Yeah,
fair
okay,
point.
I'm just being straight with you. I know you want to throw me in with some group so you can somehow push me, marginalize me, but I'm just telling you the truth, Bill. And the second thing to say here is, yes, I believe that in America we should make sure that the current health care system is fixed so that we don't bankrupt families when they have a serious illness, so that small businesses
but
are
all
not
of that, as
weighed
Mary
down.
Catherine and I
That's
agreed,
wrong.
we could do that by individual legislation. But the overall philosophy is you want to give health care to those who don't have it. Give it to them.
Absolutely. And let me just say, if you were sincere, and if Mary Catherine were sincere, instead of just bumming on Obamacare and joining the haters' ball, you would say, let's have a fix-it bill, Republicans. Let's fix this thing so it works for all Americans. Let's be pragmatic. Let's be sensible.
Listen,
let's stop the political games.
I would support that debate. And you
good man.
But get,
also,
get the feds out of
offered
it.
Republicans offered the if you like your plan, you can keep it bill a year ago, and Democrats all voted against it. There were things that could have been anticipated and fixed that we mentioned and were called liars. That's why we're at the haters' ball. See ya.
All right, Juan, just say hello to your crew for me, please.
Oh, stop. Look at you.
Next on the rundown.
Incorrigible.